Well, thank you, Pedro. Let's go like that. I will save you a little bit of trouble. So what you see behind me is my office in Zagreb. I'm here working as an assistant professor. Let's say early stage, but not so young anymore. Well, at least I don't feel like that, especially in these times. But I'm not here just as a professor. I'm here on behalf of Region 8 Young Professionals. I'm chairing my team of, well, 11 of us. We are covering 53 affinity groups in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And we do fun things. I will show you that in my presentation. I will also, one part of the presentation itself is a little bit personal experience, as it is, the best part you can talk about networking is, I guess, the personal experience. So you will see just a little bit tiny of my path, but today I think I'm striving to put together industry and academia to do together things. I think that this is like a personal call, and it seems that it's happening. At least it was before the epidemic part. We will see now how it goes. Okay, apart from that, I'm saying hello to members of my team. I see Manuel Ballesteros Carvalho is here. Thank you for the organization. Well, let me start by buenas tardes, todos. Okay, so to start with the presentation, it's called Grow Your Network, Grow Your Career. When you talk about young professionals, it's not easy to understand this term. So when you either see one part, the young part, or the professional part. So you rarely see the both of these times together. Why? Because it is some kind of oxymoron. But who are we? Is what I like to say, that we are a set of young engineers and scientists who are ambitious enough, so we believe we can do our part in advancing technology of humanity, as it is the main goal of IEEE, at least in our own way, in our own perspective, and in our own tiny bit of contribution. So, as I mentioned, we are consisting of both these words, of both young and the attributes that go together with the young, such as energy, passion, engagement, fun, networking, potential, all the great things and the interesting things that we have. On the other side, we are also professional, which means we have some kind of expertise. We do conferences, we have ambitions, we have already established a little bit of our careers. And we are, let's say we are at this stage, we are pretty much confident that we can do work, that we can collaborate, that we can do all the fun parts. And indeed, we do have both of these sets of attributes, and we can do both. But most of the time, we are just doing quite the opposite. And this is indeed our superpower. So when you say we have young expertise, we are making conferences very young, we have young ambition, and on the other side, we have a lot of professional energy and passion and fun networking. So this thing has to be introduced in order to make this both these things reachable to all the audiences. So to bring the profession to young people, but also to bring fun to the senior people, because they tend to forget that profession can be fun as well. So we make 1/3 of members in IEEE Region 8, and it's pretty much the same situation in the rest of the world. So among 420,000 members, we are consisting 1/3 of the membership. And so what do we do? Well, we launch rockets, as you can see here. This was really a footage from our event. It was happening in Barcelona in 2018, and it was called Young Professionals in Space. So it's not just launching rockets, it's making a mini satellites, workshop about electronics, about communications, and a lot of fun part as well. We also had many renowned speakers from European Space Agency, from NASA, private sector, and so on. At this point, I could see that Spain is really well established there as well. And I met some great people. I see Laura is part of us here. So Laura, hello to you as well. We did the next year in Dubai in 2019. And this year we were supposed to do it in Portugal. it will happen. But more than launching rockets, we launch careers. And at this point, let's say 15 years after your graduation of your first bachelor's degree, you are still at the early beginning of your stage, and you have not yet decided whether you're going to profile yourself to the technical, to the purely professional, or what we call more of a soft skills person, or finally go and start something on your own and do the entrepreneurship part. But what's the biggest thing among us is that you can do all of this at the same time, with steering a little bit to your own way. As I say, the difference between these three things is the thinnest at the age of young professionals. So I remember my student days and being part of IEEE, we mostly wanted to organize some kind of social networking events and organization as such, you know, like a large congresses, lots of traveling. But finally, IEEE is a professional association, and this is the most important part: is what is your profession and how can you develop it with IEEE. So this part, this is, as I said, after graduation, you choose where to go yourself. You go to academy, industry, or you want to start your own business, you go this way. And then, let's say 1 year is very exciting for you, then you are settling down, you are learning new technologies, tools, relations, and after 1 year, you think you are very confident in yourself. So that happens. What then? What do you do? And then you'll understand, okay, it's not just to get everything that you already know. The most important part for you, for your company, and for your boss as well is how to attract new knowledge, how to attract new things. And this is especially important in the electrical engineering. So how do we do it? We make a combination of our heritage, of the previous knowledge, of the tradition of the company. We have a lot of brainstorming meetings to get new approaches on fresh ideas, on new technologies, and so on. And then finally, we are also trying to seek out new opportunities. What is the needs? What are the markets that are being developed? As you can see, we are witnessing it very much these days. And then finally, also, multidisciplinarity is a very hot topic these days. We, as electrical engineers, we are digitalizing everything, so that means we can do a lot of opportunities in sectors that were not digitalized before. And yes, you can do it within your own company, but most of the new things are coming outside of the company or university or whatever you end up. So this is additionally boosted, and this is why the networking and contacts are very important, especially during the first steps, because the contacts, it's like the knowledge, you know, once you acquire it, you maintain it for the rest of your life. You have to nurture it, of course, but still they remain there. So this is 10 years ago. This is me. As part of Student Branch Zagreb, my final year of master study, I organized a visit trip to a company. At that time, it was called Exor, and they did, well, let's say, process automation. And let's say a few months after that, they really offered me a job position to go and work for them, which was quite something because if you remember, 2010 was a year of the toughest crisis, the economical part. So you couldn't find a job very much. But then at this point, they already could see, you know, this is a person that is doing something else besides what he really needs to do, you know, just taking care of his grades. And that was really nice step to do. But at this point, I was also offered that position as a PhD student at my faculty, where I'm working today now as assistant professor. And this is what I choose at that point. Well, at this point, probably I would be richer if I went to industry, but still I like my position very much. And one of the reasons is that the same company, 10 years later, to that event, we had together held a meeting and formed our project. And right now we are forming their new research and development department. They don't have one yet, but they are now establishing it because of our collaboration. And its R&D department is focused on artificial intelligence in vending machines. They changed a little bit of their focus well, widened it, and they see that it's really developing market, and they see that this is also a very new thing. By the way, what's new for them, we already did in at the end of 1990s. So we are combining our knowledge and expertise together with their access to big data that they now have, and we are going to establish a new department together. It's a really big. It's so far it already involved some 20 people employed in the project, so we will see how it develops further on. But apart from that, well, this wouldn't happen. Well, this would never happen if I stayed as employee or if I only did research at my PhD. Well, perhaps it would happen, but not at my age, not right now. And one huge part that it happened is because of the IEEE itself. Not for the IEEE like that, but because of all the skills and all the people you met and all the skills you developed together with these people and all the confidence that you acquired and all the events that you organized, people you talked with, all the perspectives, all the new things that you learned that they're coming from these people, and that's how it works. And today I'm also, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm chairing my team of 11 people, and they are all very special people in their professional life. So I take also this opportunity to say hi to them, because I think some of them are listening. Well, Manuel is here for sure. And if you talk with all of them, they had all very similar stories and very nice career already at this early stage. And what we do as the committee is we take care of 53 young professionals affinity group. One of them is Spain. You see Arturo here as the chair. And what we are doing is we are trying to engage them to do things like we did before when we were chairs of young professionals affinity group. And we are doing that very well. As you can see, we are taking 1/3 of the whole IEEE, and we are, as young professionals, we did more than 700 events in 2019, and in Region 8, more than 200 events. These are only the reported ones, because young professionals usually don't like the administration very much, so this number is even larger in reality. So some of the exceptional people is Piotr Graka from Poland, and my former affinity group in the Croatia section. They did well. This was 2018 award. And in 2019, together with many different people, we as a committee initialized more than, as you can see here, 46 very large events, usually more than 100 people, and some of the photos are already here. And that's the places where you meet people. So how do you do it? You have your local affinity group, Arturo as the chair, as I mentioned, and they submit some kind of idea to one of these 3 programs, like STEP, Student Transition and Elevation Partnership, Meetup, nice social meeting events next to the large conferences. You can indeed meet very expert people and very renowned scientists in the area. And then finally, local activity funding is whatever you would like to do, you can get $750 for that. And this is the website where you can apply it. Some of more benefits and some of more our programs that I'm going to mention in the next 2 slides. But what is interesting, these 3 occurred from ideas that were developed from you as volunteers, from members of student branches and members of affinity groups. And in particular, very much in the Region 8, as last 2 chairs of young professional committee really come from Region 8. Okay, and then 2020 is completely different than everything we had before. And it's unprecedented times. And as we like to say, what we do is we transfer the knowledge and we connect the people as IEEE. And in 2020, that really means doing it online. And this is like a joke, internal joke from my team, because the first thing you wanted to do is to do something with your own camp. How can you support people around you, humanity itself? And then finally, after 1 month of this impression, you finally go back to your original idea. I'm an electrical engineer. What can electrical engineers do with pandemics? So what we can do is first we can engage other electrical engineers to do something with us together. And this is one program that we established. It's called Young Professionals Home Offices. As you can see, we are sharing, you know, like home offices from people, from our volunteers in UK. I'm sure you can recognize some of the people on these photos as well. It's a social media-based campaign, and we would like it to transfer the message that the work is very much still getting done. Not in a fancy way, as you can see, well, not here. All of us in the photos have very nice offices, but some of the volunteers, you can see that they were really squeezed in tiny boxes, but still the electrical engineering is not stopping during pandemics. That was the message. I think we passed it very well, and we gathered more than 25 of these photos. So thank you also Spanish part for your contribution, and yeah, you can find all of them on the Facebook page. The one very important part that we established is the program we called Connecting Experts. It was initially intended for bringing distinguished lecturer. This is like the highest renowned engineers and scientists from IEEE that we can get somewhere. And we intended to send them to industry sector, to local companies in sections. But then we rebranded it a little bit and then started to put it online, a series of webinars. And you can see here the May schedule, which is happening right now. 4 of those we already held. Some more emerged during this time, and one more will be on Thursday in collaboration with Women in Engineering. So some of the slides you can see, they are a little bit here. And you can see on this photo one, we had a talk with an astronaut from Canada. So at this point, you could really make this impression that the world is a very small place when you are transferring to online. And the IEEE as the organization can match distant people in a, you know, one click, and we are all together in one WebEx call. In particular, this one had about 500 people watching it. So how is it different? As you remember, the 3 circles, we are aiming towards technical, professional, and entrepreneurial part. And very frequently, all 3 together. For example, some of these speakers before, well, most of these speakers before have in fact already established their own companies. But before that, they were part of some research groups. So the companies are spin-offs from universities or larger companies and so on. So this is a very interesting, you know, success stories that you can transfer to your members. We are utilizing social media impact. This is also one part of it. Together with the Student Activities Committee, we have, I think, the most reach out to our members from social media, as we are the youngest part of the association. Joined by some other people, joined by different affinity groups, so far Sweden, Denmark, and Turkey. We were talking with Spain also, so we will share we are doing it in a similar way as you are doing this webinar now, but on the more, let's say, technical talks. So this is example, reach out of social media. You can see 7,300 people at least clicked in some way to this post. We are also establishing virtual reality software, so this will happen, I think, very soon. One other example is our entrepreneurship initiative. We have kicked it off in 2018, and in 2019 we have the first pilot of ambassadors and events, and it was held in 20 countries over Region 8. It is intended as a series of entrepreneurship talks about success stories and so on, but also local competition for the local startups or that are in the ideation phase or in the already established business, and they are looking to scale up. So we picked the 3 of the best from all these 20 countries, where some of them didn't wish to participate at the end. But the ones we had, we picked up, let's say, 35 of the startups. So here are some examples of photos of the local events, and it was really, really well attended and great success story from our part. It has also been funded from IEEE Foundation as a separate program, so we are now scaling it up in 2020. But what I wanted to say is this is not just the entrepreneurship, it's a tech entrepreneurship. So that's what we do. If you remember that first slide, we are making the entrepreneurship at the same time young and technical, or the electrical engineering in this part. So these are some examples of the startups that have pitched, and you can see like a remote clinic or some kind of smart garden, and robots that destroys weed by laser, some kind of gesture control, and very elaborate bio-waste recycling facility from Nigeria, if I remember correctly. But also not just the technical part and prototypes and the innovations finally, because that's what they are. People who participate also develop a lot of presentation and business skills. This is very nice to have in the electrical engineering, and also very nice to have technical part of the entrepreneurship in the entrepreneurship itself. So a little bit of more numbers. We had these 35 competitors from local section. We have put them in one large pool, and we have been choosing 6 winners, 4 by the committee and 2 by the social media audience. So we were fortunate that this one was coinciding with the pandemics. So we did it really online. And you can see here it reached more than 150,000 people. So this is good for us, of course, but more than that, it's really good for the startups, because so many people watch their ideas and they already have some kind of the global impact at, as you remember, I said, at one click of your mouse. And what is very nice coinciding with this presentation is that currently there is an open call for ambassadors, and it's open till June 15th. So if you are interested, visit the social media page and you can apply as an ambassador or hold your local event, whether it's going to be online as a form of a hackathon or a datathon this year, or as we believe that by the end of the year it will be possible to meet in person as well. So this is all from my presentation. There are a little bit various inputs, but most of all I wanted to share with you some ideas on how you can engage your local community and what you can do to broaden your network. And finally, it's going to be really useful in your career. And it's never going like you are just committed to the career or you're just committed to volunteering. It has to be always iterative, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then you put what you have learned in the one part to the other part, and from the other part to the first part, and so on. And it's really a lifelong learning. So thank you for your attention. If you want, you can always reach us at this email, and I'm here at your disposal for the questions and answers part of the session.
Thanks a lot, Vinko. It's a pleasure to hear from you. We have a question from Aida Junquera. She's asking about how can a student join to IEEE Young Professionals?
Okay, so you can be, officially young professionals if you have finished your bachelor degree or your first degree. After that, when you are joining IEEE or renewing your membership, you just add young professionals, and they are free of charge. It's $0 to join young professionals together with your IEEE membership. But you don't need to wait till graduation, because our mission as young professionals is to engage students already. So you can, many of our events are really focusing students, and we would like to acquire skills or knowledge or contacts that are gonna help you in building your career or in finding your first job and so on. You don't need to wait till you graduate completely to master's degree. You can already start it in the early days of your bachelor's degree. It will form your way of study. It will perhaps even bring you bachelor or master thesis in collaboration with a company you would like to go after that. So it's really pays off to look into it. And right now, we have Arturo in this call. You can ask him what are the plans for the Spanish young professionals.
Okay, thank you very much. And if anybody has questions, you can just unmute the microphone and ask to Vinko, or if you prefer, you can write down in the chat, and then Vinko will answer our questions about young professionals and your doubts about it and the content of the presentation.
Hi, it's Arturo here. Not really a question, as you wanted to say thanks to Vinko, because I mean, I see that as young professionals and at Region 8 level especially, we are taking advantage of the situation, and instead of saying, okay, we have this whole pandemic situation, there's nothing we can do, actually it's benefiting us in many aspects, because with these activities that we're doing online, I feel that we are more engaged, collaborating at a higher level than what we were doing before. So it's a good thing, and keep up the good job, the good work. Sorry. So yeah, just want to say thank you to Vinko, and he's seeing a manual all these people.
Thank you very much, Arturo. We are also really glad to have you as a chair of young professionals in Spain. So well done so far.
Thanks.
Okay. Meanwhile, somebody asked other question. I would like to ask you, Vinko, do you know which is the limit, the upper limit, to be young professional?
Well, there is no, as we like to say, as long as you feel young and professional at the same time. So you can always, officially, you can always opt for the young professionals membership from the administrational part. But as I mentioned, we think of young professionals as people of 15 years after bachelor degree. So for example, in Croatia, that would mean until the age of 37 or 38. 37 would be your last year.
Okay, thank you.
So we have a comment from Antonio. That's really true, what you wrote. They are young professionals who are at the same time life members. Yeah. So life member, if I remember correctly, the definition is the time of, well, years of IEEE, being part of IEEE, and the years of your age. When you sum it up, it has to be over 100.
We are developing now the IEEE Etacapanu chapter inside the Uned, and we have some of the students there have 55 years old. Because Uned is different in this way. We will have young professionals of 55 and 60 years old, but they are young professionals too.
Yeah, but this is really important part. If you are a university professor and you would like to reach your students in a way that they understand, you know, this, you are a young professional, in fact, by all means.
Of course. I'm women engineering too, then I can be there.
Yeah. And that is very true. What we like the most is to have all the diversity in age at our meetings. So these meetups, as I mentioned, the very large events, the social gatherings next to the conferences are exactly this kind of thing. You can at the same time meet master students, PhD students, you know, and on the other side, conference keynote speakers, which are the senior professors with a lot of expertise behind them, a lot of experience, and also of the global renowned part in this. And it's also, as I mentioned, it's very important to reach out of your company for when you want to bring new knowledge. These meetups all, in fact, have all just 50% of IEEE members. The rest of the members are outside of IEEE. So this is how we also attract this knowledge and ideas from beyond the organization. Okay. Do we have some other questions? Okay, so
there is a chat from Manuel that say that what should be the next connection experts session.
Let me see if I can share it again. Just a moment. So this one. Impact of pandemics on European power grid will be at Thursday at 13 hours of Greenwich Mean Time. So that means 15 hours in Spain time. It will be performed by Ana Cigaran Romero. She's chairing the Women in Engineering and the Region 8. But apart from that, she's also working in the power company called 50 Hertz. So she will have really nice insight on the European market, the European power grid, the European power market. The company is situated in Germany, and you can see obviously that Ana Cigaran Romero is not a German person. So this is one of the best parts. As you can see, we have women in engineering here. We also have a young professional Sweden, and the new series of events will be ready for June. It will also have, I think, 5 separate events, and we have also very nice experts from, for example, from Mozilla Foundation itself. They will talk about how do large companies gather data for during pandemics. You know, how to estimate the spreading of the virus and so on. So then we will also have so by the way, this one is also organized by Swedish young professionals. We are having something from Denmark. We are having something from Turkish Affinity Group. And we are also having something on our own. You know, like our committee is inviting some people to talk about smart grids and so on. We send it as an e-notice, only this flyer, and then you can opt for you know, like a regular emails before every session. And if there is some new sessions that we have not estimated 1 month in advance, like this astronaut talk that we were talking about, then you can have a separate email only for this part. Okay, so to conclude this part, join us on Thursday at 15 hours in the WebEx. Find us on Facebook and on our YouTube channel. I see also a question from Brian. As someone who has been part of IEEE in a managing-like position for both student and YP, would you say it is easier to engage students than young professionals to take part of events? Any tips on how to approach young professionals? Well, this is always a hard thing to say, not because it's hard in general, but it's very local based, you know. So you really need to talk with people in Spain to see what they are really interested in, and this is why the best thing we have is affinity groups in sections, like I already mentioned a few times, Arturo and his team in Spain. So what we have really learned that all the young professionals like is indeed success stories of some way. So you can see and learn people path in different areas, For example, this entrepreneurship part is really interesting to young professionals, not because everybody would like to be entrepreneurs, but it's also a way how you can form your ideas, research into a business and establish it even within your own company or within a research project in academia and so on. This is really, really one part, and the second part is social networking, definitely. But not just, let's throw a party. But, well, that works too, of course. But in this sense, let's throw a technical party. And, once you are really relaxed, which is not a problem in Spain, obviously, well, southern parts at least. But, once you are really relaxed in the ambience that is looking like a very relaxed way, then you are easier to talk with senior professors and experts that you would hesitate to approach and ask questions otherwise. So this is really, really important part. That's what we say when we say we are making conferences younger, And for students, also one big part is definitely traveling. So I see that you are doing that in Spain. I think it's really working very well.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Vinko. Thanks for this webinar, and thanks for your knowledge about young professionals, proposals, and upcoming sessions. And thanks a lot for answering the questions.
Thank you, Pedro. It was really an honor to be here
Nice
and contribute to your program. This is really great thing that you have, and it's really nice that you have, as I mentioned, putting together the diversity in age. I really see that it's working very well in the Spain section. It's really a nice story. I'm gonna share it between our section as well in Croatia and among the other affinity groups. So
great, thanks a lot. And thanks for all attendees to being part of this webinar. If you have more questions, don't hesitate. You can ask directly to Young Professionals R8, as Vinko shared their email, to their contact email. And take care, and see you in next sessions. Bye.
goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you very much and take care. Bye-bye.